Welcome, one and all. So, can we begin? Respected Principal, Ma'am, Resource Person, faculty members, and all participants from various prestigious institutes across India, good afternoon to one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you to this national webinar conducted by the Department of Commerce, St. Mary's College. So, let us begin the program by seeking the blessings of Almighty. And for that, I call upon Sandra from 2nd MCOM for the prayer. Sandra? Okay, I think Sandra has some technical issues. So, let us have a silent prayer. Okay. Now, I request our dear HOD to introduce and welcome the guest of honor, Varghese Joy, sir. For that, I welcome Dunamis to do the same.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this national webinar on the topic Redefining Sustainability, organized by Commerce Department, St. Mary's College, Thrissur. We are honored to have an eminent personality, Mr. Varghese Joy, with us. He is an inspirational speaker and voracious reader. After graduating from Mahatma Gandhi University, he has been into WFI School of Management, Catholic University of Eichstätt, Ingolstadt, Germany, as a visiting scholar to take part in International Summer School on Firms in Society during 2018. He is a FDP alumni of Institute of Management, Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. He has published and presented his research outcomes in various national and international conferences. Currently, he is the assistant professor of the Rajagiri College of Social Sciences, Ernakulam. Now, for the whole fraternity of St. Mary's College, I wholeheartedly welcome you to this webinar to enrich this session with expertise.
Thank you, ma'am.
I also welcome our principal, Dr. Sister Maggie Jose, in her absentia to this webinar. With a heart full of happiness, I also welcome you all participants from far and near to this webinar. May all you have a fruitful time ahead. I strongly believe that this webinar will be highly productive and beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, before starting this session, I request my fellow friends to mute your phones and maintain the decorum during the session. Okay, now I welcome our resource person, Varghese Joy, sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Rajagiri College of Social Science, to begin the session.
Okay, thank you all. Let me begin with sharing my screen. Give me a second. I hope my screen is visible, right? Can I have a response from somebody?
Yeah, yes, sir. It's
Yeah,
visual.
Yes,
thank,
sir.
thank, thank you. As the HOD right now mentioned, myself, Varghese Joy, I'm a faculty member in the Department of Commerce here in Rajagiri College of Social Sciences, Kochi. So before my session, I'd like to thank the Department of Commerce and St. Mary's College, Thrissur, especially the HOD and the faculty coordinator, Professor Ajit. So thank you, both of you and the department for inviting me for this session. So I'll be dealing on sustainability, to be specific, on corporate sustainability. But let me say, since we are greatly depending on some technical resources, especially the internet connectivity, my laptop, your laptop, also all these things. So in between, if any technical flows are there from my side, kindly bear with me. If anything goes wrong, please, I'll come back to you within short while. So if anything happens like that, please, I'm sorry for that. Okay. So my agenda for this session means what all things I try to speak with you is like uh, definitely an introduction about me was planned, but already the HOD has just given me an introduction. So I'll begin with the concept of corporate social responsibility, then we'll move on to corporate sustainability, then the conceptual difference between both CSR and CS, then some corporate realities with regard to sustainability and stakeholder relationship, how far it is related, how far it can be related, all these things will be discussed. Then into marketing, how sustainability can be incorporated, what can be an ideal marketing situation. That part I'll try to convince you all people from my understanding, from my research. Then with regard to disclosure, I'm not going to be in detail because I'll be just giving you some frameworks. These frameworks are there and these frameworks are used by corporates. And what is the main component while using these frameworks? I'll try to give a short idea about that. Nothing in detail with regard to that. Then, as you all are aware about, the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, which was introduced by UN, United Nations, way back in 2015. But some realities, from the existing literature, I'll try to go through that also. Then a major area of my research attempts on social quality approach, which was developed in European Union, especially into some European countries. This approach has been there in the literature also. So I'll try to quickly go through this particular area also, and finally I'll conclude my session. So as HOD was saying some beautiful words, to be very open. I'm a very beginner in the in research part and giving some sessions like this. What I'm trying to do is like for the last 1 year, I've been doing a research in this area in corporate sustainability. So my insights, the insights that were shared from my journal, means I'm associating with a journal. So I got a editor there. So he is the proponent of the social quality approach. He's one of the proponent of this social quality approach. So he has given me some input. So I'll try to give some insights to you all people. I'm not sure how much I can convince you, or what I'll try to do is that I'll try to say, okay, these things are there, and you can find these things. If somebody is interested in this area, especially into research or especially into read further, I can definitely guide you all people. So in that part, I think I can contribute to your knowledge levels. Okay, so the initial slides or the initial part of my presentation will be something which is very familiar to you, but to have a basic understanding, to have a foundation, I think I must include that. And I think my time is still 3:30, so before that I'll try to wind up. Okay, so we'll begin with the term corporate social responsibility. I'm pretty sure everyone is aware about this concept. So I'll begin with giving you some recent news which was appeared in Economic Times, even not in Economic Times, in many other newspapers. This news was there. So I'll try to give those news and we'll go through the concept. Okay, this was a news which was published in July 27, 2020. It's almost 1 month before. Now, in this news, our Minister of Corporate Affairs, who is a minister with Nirmala Sitharaman, he is demanding the industry to spend huge fund in their into their CSR activities. So this was a particular news. Now it was after the outbreak of Corona. Now the other news, again something related to CSR, means on PM Cares Fund, Corporate Affairs Ministry, they are saying like, okay, if you're doing if you're donating some amount to PM Cares, then Corporate Affairs Ministry, they're saying like, okay, we'll consider as your CSR obligation. We'll consider as your CSR spending. So this was another news. Now the third one again, which is from our state of Kerala, we got an allegation, not an allegation, we got some demands. Means earlier, if a corporate house, if they're going to spend some amount to our CMDRF, to Chief Minister's Disaster Relief Fund, then it was considered to be a part of their CSR spending. If corporates, if they are going to try to if they're going to spend some amount into CMDRF, that was considered to be their CSR contribution. But later on, central government, the Corporate Affairs Ministry has decided to revoke that decision, and they changed the rule. So these news, why I'm saying these news, because here in India, our focus is on CSR. We are into corporate social responsibility and not into the political discussion. But in our setup, in our corporate setup, in our political setup, in our social setup, these days also we are discussing, or we are giving higher importance for corporate social responsibility, which is a pretty good concept, which is an accepted practice. But in my area, sustainability, I must say, which is far better than that concept, in which we are going to consider a long-term benefit. Okay, so this is the whole idea. This is a current context about CSR. Now, when CSR was mandatory in India, definitely after the introduction of Companies Act 2013, the government makes it mandate that if you fall on a particular criteria, then definitely your corporate house has to spend a certain percentage of your profit, of your earnings, to CSR activities. That was specified in Section 135 of Companies Act 2013, which was amended in 2014. So in that rule, they are given this provision. So this is the background of our context. Now I'll move on to the sustainability. So the word sustainability, or if you want to read something about sustainability, then definitely in the literature, this is something which will definitely catch your eyes. In 1987, UN has got a commission, and they submitted a report, a Brundtland Commission report, which is titled as Our Common Future. In that report, they're given a beautiful and accepted definition for the term sustainable development, which, as we all are familiar, means my assumption is that even if this is titled as a national seminar, majority of you are from Kerala, so you can understand the term Sustira Vigasan. Okay, so in that sustainable development meaning or the definition, they are going to communicate this particular definition: the ability to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. So a common definition which we are aware. Means, suppose if you want to start a company or a business house in your location, now definitely by starting that business house, it's not destroy, it should not affect the local environment. If it affects the local environment after 10 years or after 5 years, the survival in that particular environment will be a question mark, which these days we are facing about n number of issues here in Kerala. Means when it rains, then it's pretty sure that we are going to face a flood. So this was not happening previously, but the research, the reality says that all these things are the actions of our past generation. So in sustainable development, it speaks about definitely the present generation and definitely about the future generation. Then only we can have a sustainable development. So you need to meet the needs of your future. Today I'm having some sort of resources with me. Now on a future date, I may be there or my generation will be there. So in sustainable development, we are targeting my future generations. So this is the whole idea about sustainable development in a very nutshell. Now, this was happened in 1987 towards the end. Later, again in 1990s, again a famous scholar called John Eglinton, he has introduced, I'm not saying he has introduced, but he was having a thought of triple bottom line. No? He researched on this area, on triple bottom line, which was widely discussed. Now, in triple bottom line, definitely, usually corporates, what they'll focus is like, they'll be focusing on the economic aspects. They'll be focusing on the economic aspects. Means whatever you do, ultimately, in the end of the day, whether you're having sufficient financial backup or not. So this was the thought. Even these days also, this was the thought. But in triple bottom line theory, or in that model, it says that apart from the economic profit, as a corporate house, you need to consider the environmental factors, and definitely you need to consider the definitely the ecological factors, and definitely the social factors. Okay, apart from the economic profit, you need to consider the environment in which you are going to operate your business. Apart from that, you need to consider the social factors. So, and this particular image, it's depicted as 3 P's. Okay, profit, that is the economic part. Then people, there's a social factors, the social variables. Then the other planet, it is the environmental variables. So in this particular model, on triple bottom line model, John Eglinton in 1997, he has got a very good research outcome with him. Now he translated this triple bottom line. Now in which he is in a position to find there is a trade-off between all these variables. Means if you are a businessman, you're going to start a company. Now once you start a company, definitely you're going to use the resources. Now if you're using the resources, definitely suppose you earn a profit of $3,000. Of that $3,000, you might be using a certain portion of your resources, of your environmental resources. So definitely if you're using some environmental resources, say I'm going to damage some trees for my business operation, then he is saying like, or this particular model in which indirectly they're saying like, then you need to pay for that. Now if you're going to exploit the social factors, especially the living in the day-to-day living, you're going to affect the day-to-day living of your neighbors, and in that case you need to pay for that. So he is saying like, in between you can find a trade-off, and on that part you must concentrate on. Through that part only you can do your business, then only it can be considered as a sustainable business model. Means if you're going to consider that, definitely you need to sacrifice your economic profit. But he is saying like, definitely you need to sacrifice your economic profit, because otherwise over a period of time, life on earth will be a question mark. Life on earth will be a question mark. So he was saying like, okay, you need to consider that. So this is the whole idea about sustainability in a corporate perspective. I think I'm clear, right? Okay, now the most debated topic, whether corporates can have sustainability or not. Now, following this concept, I'm going to integrate the concept of corporate sustainability into sustainable part. Now, this is a famous definition. I'm not saying a famous definition, a clear-cut meaning for the term corporate sustainability, which was an outcome of a research done by Ogrian and Hersio in 2018. One of their paper, they are giving this particular conceptual definition for the term sustainable, corporate sustainability. The saying goes like this. I'll read the statement. Corporate sustainability is the integration of economic, remember the term economic, social, and environmental concerns. So those are the 3 hot areas: economic, social, and environmental concern, and goals into a company's approach while considering the interest and claim of its present and future stakeholders. Okay, means from a corporate perspective, they are not talking about, instead of using the generic term of generation, they are using the term present and future stakeholders. So you need to consider the economic factors, the social factors, and the environmental factors. As a corporate house, you need to consider it, and you need to integrate the interest of all these factors. Then only you can say, okay, this is a sustainable corporate model. So that's the whole idea about sustainability into corporate activities. So that's a perfect definition which I found from my readings. on corporate sustainability. Now, a conceptual difference between both. I must say, apart from the conceptual difference, even a practical difference between both the concepts, CSR and CS. CSR, corporate social responsibility, and corporate sustainability. See, on corporate social responsibility, it's all about you're doing good. You're doing good means, see, definitely government makes it mandatory. Then that's why out of your profits, you're doing something. See, you may be exploiting the natural environment. Now in CSR, it says like, it doesn't say like if you're exploiting nature, it doesn't say like, okay, you need to do your CSR activities into nature conservation. No, it doesn't say like that. See, even when you take into different corporates which are operating in your surroundings, into what they are into means into what area they are doing their CSR spending. Maybe they are exploiting the natural environment, or they are exploiting the water resources, but their CSR spending will be on education. Their CSR spending will be on building some ATMs, or sorry, on building some what to say some desktops, all those things. So this is not perfect, right? Means if you are destroying the natural environment, then definitely as a socially responsible corporate house, ideally you need to contribute to that part, but it's not happening in reality. So in CSR means you're doing good. You're doing good means on you're creating an image that okay, you're doing good, you're doing something which is good for the community. But in sustainability, that is a broader concept in which you're trying to become a good company. You are trying to become a good company means you are sacrificing your profits, you're sacrificing n number of things, and through that, over a period of time, even with considering the future generation, you're making good business models. You are not at all focusing on the economic gain. You are going to focus definitely on the economic part. That is a core idea of this doing business, definitely. But apart from the economic part, you are going to give consideration for the environmental part, environmental factors, and definitely for the social factors. So that is a main idea. That is a core difference between both CSR and sustainability and corporate sustainability. In CSR, your focus is much more into doing good, or to creating a good impression among your neighbors. Definitely, the reason is like the government makes it mandate. Then definitely for your survival, you need to do that. But in sustainability part, it doesn't goes like, okay, this is mandatory, you need to do. It doesn't goes like that. It's a broader perspective. In a broader perspective, it has got a huge thinking behind that, and the decisions that you're going to make, everything matters. That part we'll discuss later. So from my understanding, this is the main difference between both corporate social responsibility and corporate sustainability. Now, when you look into the literature, n number of these differences you can be seen. Now, why I'm mentioning this? This is my level of understanding on these concepts. Okay. Now, into some realities. Into the stakeholder relations. This is something crucial. Definitely, you need to consider the present and the future generation, right? So in say sustainability and stakeholder relations, as the literature goes like, stakeholders are the interested parties to your business. Means at any point of time, they got some interest. It can be your employees, or it can be your customers, it can be your creditors, it can be your suppliers, or it can be your government, it can be your employees. So it can be anyone who is directly or indirectly associated with your business house. Now, the interesting fact is like, this is something which is happen in Europe. The interesting fact is like, even like our corporate houses here in India, even the European corporate houses also, they are also not interested to be a sustainable business model. They are not interested to be a corporate house which is focusing on corporate sustainability. But stakeholder pressure plays a crucial role. The stakeholder pressure in the sense, if these stakeholders can impart some pressure, means if the employees, or if the local neighbors, or if the government, if they are going to exert some pressure to corporate houses, then definitely corporate houses will be a sustainable business model. Now, how it can be happen? Now, this is one practice which was really happen in Europe. Customers are a crucial stakeholder group. They vote for only for sustainable companies with their purchase. Means which can be translated like, if I'm a customer and I'm going to purchase something from a market, okay, I'll be having a number of choices in my shop. Now, I'll be purchasing only those companies' products which are highly sustainable. Means if that company is giving higher relevance for sustainability, then I'll be purchasing products of that company. Means I'll not purchase the products of those companies which are not into sustainable business model. Through that, customers as a stakeholder, they can exert pressure. So if every customer is going to have that decision, then definitely companies or corporates will be moved to do the same thing. They'll be shifted to change their way of thinking. So this is something which happened in Europe. I'm not saying from my, not from my assumptions. Okay. Now this is something which even in our case is happening. Media can definitely build and destroy the good reputation. So my idea is like, so if you're having a strong media presence, if they can report every aspects of your corporate houses, then definitely it can exert some pressure. Now what happens is that majority of your media is being controlled by big corporate houses. So then sustainability won't be there. I mean, sustainability, we can't have a corporate sustainable model. So to have better corporate sustainable models, media as a stakeholder group, they can pressure. They can destroy the good reputation if they find that, okay, this business house is not doing good things. Their suppliers are entirely extracting the resources. That is something which is happening. Means from our understanding, our company is doing perfectly. But what happens is that on the backstage, our company is going to purchase raw materials from some other person, some suppliers. Now, this suppliers is going to completely destroy the natural resources. Then we can't say that we are a business who is giving focus to sustainability, because our suppliers are doing something wrong and we are the end users. So we cannot say like, okay, my company is a sustainable business model. Okay, so that's another interesting part. Then definitely government can enforce sustainable practice, but the literature shows that every governments are interested to be taken away from these type of activities. That means they will not enforce sustainable practice. They may enforce sustainable practice, but after some point of time, they will withdraw their decision. So that is something which is not acceptable. So now the other one, this is something important, especially I'm having a number of students in my session. This is something which is important, which I used to comment with my students also. If you find that, okay, your company is having a good sustainable practices, then you can definitely be an employee, be a proud employee. If you find that, okay, this company is not having any sustainable practices, then definitely you can definitely move out from this company. Now, this is a research output. Sustainable practices of an organization can definitely attract employees, and on the other side, apart from attracting employees, definitely they can retain employees. Means employees can be retained. So as a human resource group, means as a future employees, if my students like you all people, if you can have a decision like that, okay, I'll be only employed in a company which is highly sustainable, which is highly giving importance to sustainable practices. If everyone like us is going to have that decision, then definitely over a period of time, definitely every business house will move on to that practice of sustainability. Okay, now an interesting research output which was done in 2018. Greenpeace as an organization, they done a research and they found that world's largest fast-moving consumer goods companies, FMCG companies, they are not being held accountable. Remember the term? They are not being held accountable for the growing crisis associated with the production, disposal, and pollution of single-use plastics. That's a tragedy. That's a tragedy in the sense n number of FMCG items are there, companies are there. I'm not going to refer an example. See, in our day-to-day life, we used to purchase small sachet, shampoos. then we'll use it and we are forced to throw it away. Single-use plastics, soap powder, all these things we used to purchase, and we never use that plastic again. Those are single-use plastics. Now what happens is like, now this is a tragic figure. I'm sorry for the image quality. It's polluted by single-use plastics, all those wrappers. Now definitely you'll ask, okay, that is the duty of the customer, right? But remember, we are forced to purchase like that. Okay. So if you are a corporate house manager, if you are a business manager, if you are the decision maker, remember, it's your decision, it can change. It's a single decision which can change the entire impact, the entire environment. So this is something on which companies are to take the call. They are to take the decision. Okay. We have to take the decision that, okay, we are from here onwards, we are not going to offer our products through single-use plastics. Okay. So this was an interesting research outcome which was there in 2018. Okay, they are not being held accountable also, means they are least bothered. They are least bothered. They are not having any statistics with them, how much they produce, how much is being reused. All these things are not with them. So the literature says that they must be held accountable because they are the producers. They are not giving any choice to customers. So this is something, again, a crucial part. So that's all about the stakeholder relation, the stakeholder pressure. Now into the marketing part. This is again an interesting area, sustainability and marketing. If somebody is interested in sustainability, doing research or reading on sustainability, on marketing domain also, there can be n number of articles. Now into marketing, now I'll give you a statement which is the core of sustainability marketing. Yes, sir. Now the core is like, on sustainability marketing, the focus should be to develop sustainable product, sustainable price, sustainable distribution channel, sustainable communication, sustainable employees. Means just like our conventional marketing, just like the 4 P's, here also directly or indirectly they are focusing into the 4 P's. Okay, into the sustainable product, into the price part, into the distribution channel, all those things. So our focus should be always into sustainability. Now, how sustainability? How sustainable product? A sustainable product means definitely it should, see, in conventional system, a product means that can satisfy the needs and wants of your customers, right? Now here, sustainable product means a broader perspective, a broader concept, which can satisfy the customers and achieve their, remember the term, social and environmental goals. Social goals in the sense, n number of social factors are associated. Means, see, if I'm having a poor person, if I'm having a person who is having only daily wages, and sustainable product means, see, there are n number of customers who can afford your products, but you need to consider these people also. You need to consider these people also. You need to satisfy their needs also. So sachets are, means shampoo sachets are something which can be an ideal example. Okay, which can be an ideal example. Means shampoos, so generally shampoos will be of 500 ml or something like that, which cannot be easily accessible or which cannot be easily affordable for a daily wage. But for them, this 1 rupee sachet or 2 rupee sachet, which is something which can satisfy their need. So that is something all about the social goals. Now on the other side, environmental goals like, you need to consider the environmental factors, the usage of resources, the destruction of resources, all these things should be considered while developing a product. Okay, it should not harm the environment, a simple one. Now in this perspective, let me give a concept like a bottom of the pyramid, which was developed by an Indian, C.K. Prahalada. So if you are interested, you can read on that part. It's not related to sustainability, but if you are interested in marketing management, especially in marketing management, you can note down C.K. Prahalada. He has done extensive research on bottom of pyramid. That is something which was done by FMCG companies, some MNCs in our Indian context. Means this 1 rupee sachet, all these things are considered to be a bottom of pyramid. The outcome of this research means, see, in bottom of pyramid, what they are trying to communicate is like, see, you in an economy, you will have definitely higher income group people, middle income group people, and lower income group people. Now in this particular model, they're saying like, see, in lower income group, you're having a huge customers. Means in the higher income group, there are say 100 customers are there. In middle income group, you're having say a pretty good 250 customers, but in the lower income group, you're having more than 500 customers. Now, if you're an MNC and if you can't reach out to them, then definitely you're losing your market. So to reach out to them, these FMCG companies, these MNCs, what they did, they introduced these least price products, the sachets, the soaps, which is very lesser in cost, lesser in price. So I think I request you all to read on that part. That can be considered to be a part of sustainable product, I must say. Now, this is again a perfect sustainable approach, which was done, which was practiced in US and Europe. Means if you're going to produce something, if you're a sustainable business model, or if you're practicing sustainability, if you are into sustainable practices, then definitely you need to disclose the plastic usage of your product. Then it can be considered a sustainable practice. A plastic usage in the sense, if you can reveal that, that means you're going to communicate that, okay, for this product, we are used this much percentage of plastic. Means you are going to communicate, okay, you are being held accountable. You are now accountable to the general public. Through that, definitely customers will also definitely, they'll try to reduce the usage of plastic. And over a period of time, you can also try to reduce the usage of plastic. Means in the sense, in the other side, definitely for a company, they're having two types of products. On one type, they're going to disclose like, okay, we are used 15% of plastic, and you fix a rate, if you fix the price for your product. Now on the other side, you have the same product in which you're going to say like, okay, we are used only 5% of plastic, but you are going to charge a higher price. Okay, now this is the way in which you are going to disclose the plastic usage. Now customers will have a comparison. They'll compare and they'll fix. Definitely, we as a common man definitely will fix. We'll choose only product which is having lesser price. Now the theory goes like that. Now that is a general trend. As teachers, as persons from academics to the corporates and to the general public, we need to educate. Okay, which is far better, even with compromising some part of your income to purchase sustainable product. It will be beneficial for the future. Okay, this is a general practice which was happened there. So this is all about sustainability into marketing. Now into the price, definitely while fixing the price, as earlier I told, definitely you need to consider the cost associated with the environment and to the social factors. Definitely, if you are going to produce small sachet, definitely it is going to increase your cost of production. You need to have small packets, you need to market in that way. Definitely all these things will add your cost. So you can add those costs into your final price of your product. That is accepted in literature. But the point is like, you need to consider, means you need to educate both your corporates and your customers. Why we are charging higher price? Because we are into a sustainable product. Okay. Now into the sustainable distribution channel, this is something which every company can practice, which every business house can practice. Minimize the harm towards social and ecological environment. In the sense, if you are going to have a warehouse within 2 kilometers, then definitely your transportation will be lesser one. If you are going to have a warehouse within 25 kilometers, definitely you need to commute to 25 kilometers. That is something which is going to pollute the air, right? So these simple things on distribution channel. Why you are going to depend n number of middlemen? Instead of n number of middlemen, you can depend only one middleman. So that part will be the only transportation. So in that way, you can reduce the pollution part. You can reduce the n number of costs associated with it. And the theory says like, then it is a sustainable distribution channel. Now on the other side, previously I was saying like, you need to check who are your suppliers, what is their business practice. Okay, maybe you are doing good, you are doing n number of things. You are not going to destroy the natural environment. You're not going to affect, you're not going to cheat your society. But on the other side, on the backstage, what's really happening? Maybe your supplier, they are going to destroy the entire resources. They are going to destroy the natural resources. Maybe they are going to exploit the labors on their field. Then you cannot say like, okay, I'm having a sustainable practice. You need to think about them, what they are doing. If we are not doing perfect thing, then you cannot say you are a perfect. Then you need to correct them as a business. Then only we can say a development for the future generation. Otherwise, if they are going to exploit the natural resources, then over a period of time, those natural resources won't be accessible to the next generation. If they are going to exploit the labor and over a period of time, that will affect their personal health, that will affect that community. So definitely you need to think about that also as a sustainable business model. Then this is a model of sustainable communication, means which we all can practice in our college, in our schools, in our corporate houses. This is not something directly related to corporate houses, means in every communication you need to depend on electronic modes. These days, n number of webinars. Just check the number of webinars that you attended. If there is no webinar and if you're having physical seminars, our number will be very minimum, right? Because we need to travel, we need to spend on n number of things. But these days, since everyone is sitting home or back in office without having much engagements, we are completely depending on electronic modes of communication, which is going to reduce your n number of costs, right? Then on your events, even the NSS, all these organizations, they are practicing it. Means they got a banner, a common banner, without printing the dates. Without printing the dates, in the sense they can use it again and again. Now this is something which every one of us can practice, right? Now to promote our events, you can definitely use your social media, all these things. So this is a model of sustainable communication to a common man language. Now this is something which we can adopt in our business house also, into our marketing management, into our communication, into our PR. We can use these sustainable communication models, which is relevant to your company. Instead of giving newspaper advertisement, instead of giving huge plastic hoardings, you can think about all these things. Means in the end of the day, you need to reach out to your customers, right? So you can depend on n number of choices. Now, while fixing those choices, definitely think about sustainability, whether we are going to exploit the natural resource, whether we are going to exploit the social resources. Then if you're having a perfect answer, then definitely you are into sustainable business model. Okay. Now, with regard to the disclosure, I'm not going into detail in the sense into the technical part. I'll give you an idea about which are the disclosure frameworks which are used. Okay. Now, definitely, in every aspect, why you need to disclose? Definitely to have transparency. Okay, you need to disclose how much you are exploiting your natural resources, how much trees have been cut to develop a particular corporate building, to establish a corporate building, or to how much water resources have been polluted. All these things you need to communicate. That is a disclosure part. Now, for disclosure, there are some widely accepted frameworks are there. I'll quickly go through that. The first one, Global Reporting Initiative, GRI. Majority of the MNCs right now, they are using this reporting initiative. This is widely acceptable sustainability disclosure model framework. Then the other one, Dow Jones Sustainability Index, which is commonly known as DJSI. Then the other one, SASB, Sustainability Accounting Standard Board. And the other one, International Integrated Reporting Council, which is another framework for disclosure. Now, these are the frameworks which are currently employed by major MNCs for the sustainability practices, of which the highly accepted and highly practiced one is Global Reporting Initiative. Now, in all these frameworks, the main core idea is that they will be considering the material aspects of economic, social, and environmental impacts. The material aspects means what all things which are directly or indirectly affecting your business. All these things will be a part of these these frameworks. Means what all things which are directly or indirectly affecting your business operations, whether it is related to economic part, whether it is related to social aspects, whether it is related to environmental aspects, all these things will be a part of your these frameworks. Means even the education of the local people, that can be a part of your these frameworks. So this is a brief idea about the disclosure part. Now, if you need to do a research on these areas, definitely you must be thorough about these frameworks and all, and that is something much more technical in nature, for which you need to highly depend on some experts. Now, the other area of my discussion on sustainable development goals. Now, in sustainable development goals, I'm pretty sure majority of you are completely aware, which 17 sustainable goals, which is developed by United Nations, starting from not poverty, all these things. Now, it was developed in 2015. It's a global plan of action for a sustainable development. It means for a long run development, you need a plan, and which was framed by UN. Perfect, so far so good. Now the title they're given, like transforming our world, 2030 agenda for sustainable development. Now in this report, these SDGs were framed. Now it's 17 SDGs with 167 targets. Means you need to achieve 167 targets through these goals. Now, a report which was published by KPMG in 2018, they reported that 40% of the world's 250 large companies, they are giving, remember, they are giving attention to SDGs in their sustainability reports. Please keep on going on the terms. They are giving attention, huge attention to SDGs in their sustainability reports. Means the other meaning is like that, while companies, they are going to prepare the sustainability reports, means here we are having CSR report. Now, if into sustainability reports, they are giving higher attention in the sense, it can be they are doing something for sustainable development goals, or it can be they're giving focus on the words which are used in these SDGs. Oh, anyway, now what happened was, means this 167 targets fixed, 40% of the companies are giving attention, but in reality, what happened was SDGs were developed at the macro level. Means United Nations, they develop these goals, but sustainable business practices has to be executed at the micro level. Means now in United Nations, they develop a number of goals. Now here in Kochi, I'm doing a small business. I'm doing a business. Now here my issues will be entirely different, and my counteraction will be entirely different. So that conflict was really there. And to identify, now how we identified, now in SDG progress report was published by UN, means UN, United Nations, they themselves publish a report, a progress report, means how far we are able to achieve our development goals. And in that report, it was revealed that it is very difficult to connect SDGs set at the global level to the sustainability practices implemented in the local level. That's a hard reality. Means everyone is celebrating SDGs. Everywhere we are talking about SDGs, how beautiful, how sweet that idea, that global plan of action is. But this is the reality. Now, this report was not done by any private institution. This is a report, and this is the reality which is published by the United Nations itself. So that is a reality in which we are currently operating. Okay, means it's very difficult because, see, here in Kochi, a company which is operating, they need to have a plan of action, they need to have a goal, they need to do their business according to the local situation. Their issues will be entirely different. Okay, so that was not considered while developing this SDGs. So now this is the all reality about sustainability. Okay, this is the hard reality about sustainability with regard to the stakeholder pressure, with regard to the marketing domain, with regard to the disclosure pattern, with regard to the sustainable development goals. Now, here comes the concept of social quality approach. Now, this concept was developed clearly in European Union. Means there's a foundation, European foundation. Now it's been termed as International Association on Social Equality. Now this association, they got funding from European Union, and they were into doing social science researchers, especially the 8 social scientists were there. Now they actually developed this approach of social quality. In social quality approach, one of their focus was the overall sustainability, the corporate sustainability and the overall sustainability. Now this association, now they are publishing an article, international journal, sorry, not an article, they are publishing a journal, International Journal on Social Quality, which is a highly reputed article. They are purely focusing on these social quality approaches, these social quality philosophies and all. And one of my article is going to be published in this journal. So that's why I'm hinting this one. Now, if somebody is interested in social quality and all, you can definitely go through this journal. You can access, it's not open access, definitely you need to pay for the articles, but something. Now they used to publish twice in a year. They will only publish nearly four articles in their one issue. Means you can find only 4 to 6, not like the others. Okay, so they are highly focused on the area in which they are doing research. So just an input, you can go through this journal, its articles and all. Now what happens with this social quality approach is that they actually questions the traditional concept of sustainability. Means, see, in the traditional concept of corporate sustainability and all, we need to give focus on definitely on the economic part as a business house. Apart from the economic part, economic factors, you need to focus on the social and environmental factors. I already told in the triple bottom line approach and all, they're saying like that, right? But the social quality approach, they questions the traditional concept of sustainability, and they are criticizing that in the traditional approach, the social factors means that is not with those factors which are not covered under economic and environmental factors are considered as social factors. That is their argument. Means in triple bottom line and in corporate sustainability definition and all, the scholars are trying like you need to integrate the economic factors, the environmental factors, and the social factors. But on social quality approach, the scholars are asking, can you be very specific? What do you mean by this? Okay, economic part, it's very clear. Economic part is very clear. And environmental part also, it's very clear. But social factors, what does it mean? So that was the question. And definitely on social quality approach, they are giving higher focus on definitely on social justice, equal citizenship, solidarity, and human dignity. Equal citizenship and all, these days, even in India, after the outbreak of corona, we are facing that issue, right? It means I'm not going to the CAA allegation controversies. See, the internally displaced persons, we used to call like that in the literature. Means now in Kerala, we used to call them guest workers, migrant workers. See, they are also part of our nation. They are also part of our nation. What was our consideration to them? And the government decided for lockdown, they are totally disrecognized. They are totally neglected, right? So in social quality approach, we are giving focus for all these things, for the social justice, for the equal citizenship, for the solidarity of individuals who are not considered to the weaker community. Then definitely you need to give higher importance for the labor, whether it's your labor or whether it's your supplier's labor or it's a contract labor, whatever be, you need to give importance and consideration for that. So that is the core idea about social quality approach, and they define sustainability in that part. And having said so, they are saying like everyone is talking about social progress, but they are saying like if you need a sustainability, if you need to achieve corporate sustainability, it should not be the social progress. Means it should not be uplifting someone. It should be a transformation in our thought process, in an entire societal transformation. Okay, it should not be talking like, okay, you need to give them some subsidy, you need to give some reservation. That's all idea about social progress. But in sustainability, especially into social corporate sustainability and even in social sustainability, they're talking about instead of uplifting someone, you need to have a radical rethinking in your thought process. If a radical thinking is happening in your thought process, then definitely that radical thinking will be happening in your acts also. If you are a corporate manager, then definitely you will think about your laborers, your suppliers' laborers, your actions, your inactions, everything you will be considering. So in social quality approach, they are demanding for that, a societal transformation. Now how it can be achieved? Now they're saying like, instead of your conventional three-dimension model, a three-dimensional model means in triple bottom line and all, they're trying to communicate that means the economic part, the environmental part, the social part, the social factors. Now in social quality approach, the scholars are trying to say you need to replace the three-dimension with a four-dimension model. Now in that four-dimension model, definitely you will have a socio-economic, means the economic part in the previous one. Then you need to have a socio-environmental part, the ecological part, the environmental part in the previous. Now they are going to replace your conventional social factors with socio-political or legal and socio-cultural or welfare. Now socio-political or legal is something which our internally displaced persons face, our migrant workers face. Means you need to give them food. That was happening here in Kerala and all, since they are not having job. That is something which is all about their welfare. But apart from their welfare and social factors, you need to consider the political reasons, the legal background, whether they are getting enough legal support or not. A Supreme Court was interfering in that case, right? So that is something on which in social quality approach, their focus of sustainability, or they are redefining the sustainability in that perspective. Apart from giving a generic term of social, they are giving a much more ideal definition or ideal clarification for that beautiful word of social, socio-political and socio-cultural. And again, they are relating every aspect with a social approach, with a societal approach. Even the economic part, apart from earning economic gain or economic profit, which is going to ultimately increase your credit balance, they're saying like, okay, it's perfect, you can have your economic profit, but you need to consider your society. Okay, it's perfect, you need to conserve your environmental resources, but again, on the other side, you need to consider your society. Means they're actually questioning those pseudo intellectuals who are focusing on, okay, we need to protect the environment, there should not be happening anything. We used to say like prakriti snehigal undallo, means those who are extremists. Now they are actually questioning them also. They are saying like, okay, you need to protect your environment, you need to conserve your natural resources, but again remember, apart from that, you need to consider your society as a whole, because if there is individual, then definitely you can protect, you can conserve your natural resources. So this is the whole idea about redefining the sustainability in this perspective with a social quality approach. So I think this is something which I need to communicate. Now it's a conclusion. What I need to say is like, this is something which I quoted from one of my readings. I like this particular thing a lot, which I usually communicate with my students when I used to teach. When convenience, so that convenience in inverted comma, is the key for all business decision, then remember, the sustainability will be a dream that will not come true. Means if you're a business manager, if you're a decision maker in a corporate house, and if you're always thinking about convenience, okay, this is convenient for me to hire a contract laborer, this is convenient for me, so that, say, instead of destroying the natural resources, but again, this is convenient for me, then if the core idea about your decision is convenience, then definitely the idea that we are talking about a sustainable model, a sustainable corporate model, will be a dream, and that now comes true. Then that's going to question our survival. Okay, now the cost of convenience will be the health of our ecosystem and definitely the living beings. Means after 5 years or after 10 years or after 20 years or after 30 years, life on earth will be a question. We can't, then the ultimate aim of our education means to make this world a better place for living. That won't happen. So since this webinar is organized by Commerce Department, my assumption is that majority of you will be corporate managers or someone who is going to take some crucial decisions. Now, those people, remember, if you're highly relied on your convenience, remember, it's going to question our existence and the existence of our future generation. Okay, so this should be the aim, societal transformation, not the generic term of social progress by giving them some blind what to say, some blind offers. This should be the aim of sustainability, transforming the entire society. Okay, so by that I think I concluded my discussion, my presentation. Now I think it's okay if you're having any questions. I'm happy to respond from my limited knowledge. Okay, it's 3:30 in my clock. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And there is one question.
Yeah. I just right now I saw that question. It's by Vani Kesari. I'm sorry if my pronunciation is wrong. Feedback form is already up. Okay. Now the question goes like, what is your take on non-compliance of CSR being penalized? Do you feel that CSR should be compulsory? Will such acts affect corporate sustainability? Thank you, ma'am, for your question. See, when you're talking from our context means from the Indian context. Now what happens is like the section 135 makes it mandate that, okay, you need to do if you're having a certain percentage of, if you're falling on that criteria, means of the revenue or the total turnover or the top of the profit criteria of that slab, then definitely either you need to spend on CSR or definitely your tax burden will increase. So that is the call on which corporates have been compelled to do the CSR activities. Now what happens is like, if that is the reason why they are spending, then definitely that won't satisfy the need of our future generation. They'll be comfortable within their, they'll be doing their CSR activities with their comfort zones. So whether it should be compulsory or not, anyway, at least government is trying to do like that. But remember, since it's compulsory, everyone will be doing that, but that won't serve the purpose. That won't serve the purpose of future generations. So that is my my answer. Now, whether it is penalized or not, now, if there is a rule, and if you are not following that rule, then definitely there must be some actions, right? Then which will such acts affects corporate sustainability? Will such acts affects means maybe the act of corporates. Again, that may not be, means will such acts affect corporate sustainability means, if you're feeling like, okay, I'm practicing sustainability, practicing my acts are sustainable practices, then definitely whether you're doing CSR activities or not, that doesn't matter. So CSR right now in our context, since it's a mandatory thing, a company, if they need to do some sustainable practices, then definitely both we need to mix up. So CSR means CS, corporate sustainability, is much something which is far beyond the entire concept of CS. So other elder brother, yeah, is there anything that I need to respond?
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
And it was really an informative class, and also the topics discussed were the relevant ones. And it's an end of technical session. And I request the participants to post the queries in the chat box if there are any questions more. So I think there are no more questions.
Yeah,
And
ma'am, give me a second. Can I?
okay.
Can I?
Yes, please, sir.
Yeah. So I'm very sure that there will be no questions in the sense. My request not to everyone, because everyone may not be interested in this area. If you're interested, especially in sustainability and especially in social quality approach, remember the social quality approach, that theory is just emerging topic. Okay, it's there in the literature, but it's totally neglected, that area. So maybe after 20 years or after 25 years in the academia, they'll try to discuss. So this is something in which you can explore, and if somebody is going to do some research, then definitely this is a relevant area in which you can do some research. So in that part, you can take this webinar. Okay, and again, remember the IJSQ, International Journal on Social Quality, the journal, the articles which are published, the journal is some Netherlands-based journal. So that articles which are published will give you, if you go through those articles, then definitely that will give you a better idea about sustainability or these things. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. So it's time to wrap the session. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you, audience.
Thank you.
So I request Ms. Meera to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, all. It's my privilege to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. First of all, I would like to thank God Almighty for making today's event a resounding success with His blessings and grace. Also, I'm immensely thankful to our beloved principal, Dr. Sister Maggie Joy, who continues to inspire us but to work with zeal and dedication. Next, I would like to thank our resource person, Varghese Joy Sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Rajagiri College of Social Science, who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace this occasion. And we all had a wonderful session regarding redefining sustainability. So thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words.
Thank you.
Then I would like to thank Ms. Jilu Joshi, HOD, Department of Commerce, and Mr. Ajit K. Sir, Faculty Coordinator of this event, for organizing this webinar. Thank you so much, Ms. and thank you, sir. And I would also like to thank all the faculties of Department of Commerce who work behind the scenes to make this event success. Thank you all. And I would also like to thank Ms. Srividya Rajendran, the student coordinator of today's event. Last but not least, I thank all the participants of this webinar. Thank you all for your patient listening. Once again, I thank each and everyone present here. Thank you.
Thank you, Meera. Thank you all. Now, everyone can leave the session.